Good morning, children of God.
Good morning.
For those of you who braved the freezing fog, yay! We won't take pictures of that this morning. We'll just let you know that's one of the issues. Until about quarter of the hour, we thought it was me and Steve and Dennis. You all were hiding in the parking lot and then all ran in at once. Stayed in a warm car. Good for you. Or not. We never figured it out. We just kind of go with the flow. And just say, yay. And then pay attention. The quickest way to raise our living level is to lift our giving level. Need to think about that one a little bit. And we're going to talk about what we give and how we give. That's part of what we've been working on for the last couple of 3 weeks and what we'll be continuing to work on for the next few weeks. But let's start this celebration in prayer. Let's center and acknowledge the presence of our loving Father, Mother God. O loving Father, Mother God, we come to you this day with an open heart. We come to you this day choosing to be receptive and responsive to your instruction and to your guidance. We come together this day in joy, knowing we have the opportunity to worship, to sing, and to pray in the name, in the nature, in the power of the Christ. Amen.
Today's daily word is surrender, and we're going to have the reading of the daily word by Sharon this morning.
Good morning. This message really resonates for me, and so it took me by surprise when I read what this was about, and I think many of us in our lifetime have been at this place. Surrender. It's called The New Discoveries Await When I Listen to the Divine and Move Out of My Comfort Zone. A boat in dry dock will never experience the waters it was built to sail upon. Likewise, I must release myself from the shores of limitation in order to fully experience the life of God created for me to live. The waters of my life ahead may range from turbulent and uncharted to safe harbors of stillness. How will I know unless I let go of the shore? I begin by inquiring within. Are there instances when I am clinging to the comfortable and safe rather than moving forward? I will know when it's time to cast off, when remaining anchored to the shore becomes less comfortable than launching into the unknown. I let go, and in the words of the Karen Drucker song, "Let Go of the Shore," I float into the mystery. Put out the deep water and let down your nets for a catch. Luke chapter 5, verse 4. Thank you.
We have discovered that the more often we give power to our word of who we are, the more often that will show up in our world. Sometimes it takes a while to get that. And sometimes we'll have lapses where we look outside in instead of inside out. So when you have the opportunity, remember who you are with power and authority. Let's take our affirmation. I am a child of the living God. I have within me the all-creating power of the Christ. It radiates from me and blesses all whom I contact. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am now in the presence. Let's join with Steve. The Father and I are one. From your heart now. Holding this truth of us gently now, easily, effortlessly, return to that place within that Jesus called our inner closet, our secret place. And as we enter in this day, we follow his instruction and his guidance. As you enter in, close the door. We close the door on those thoughts and feelings of what I should have done. We close the door on those thoughts and feelings of what I have yet to do this day. And for one holy moment, we rest. We pray, asking, believing, and we listen. And here in the stillness and in the silence, answers come. Perhaps in the form of a word, order, peace, harmony, love. Perhaps in the vibration of the music. Regardless of how these gifts come to you this day, know they come wrapped in love. In this moment, choose to reach out and say, yes, I accept these gifts. And as I do so, I immerse myself in them. And in doing so, each and every cell of my being responds. In this moment, I am whole and free. In this moment, all my needs are met. In this moment, I am blessed. And I am grateful. And that gratitude swells up and overflows. And in this movement, I remember I am a channel through which good flows into my world this day in this moment. I open that channel wide. From me, through me, good flows. Into this room, growing in strength and in power, healing, blessing, touching each and every one of God's children, knowing exactly what you need in this moment is yours. From you, through you, good flows. Into our spiritual community, wherever that might be this day. Touching, healing, blessing. From me, through me, good flows. Into our city, across our state, across our country, touching, healing, blessing. Around our world. With each breath I take, from me, through me, good flows. And from the very core of my being, I know that in truth and in spirit, we are never separate one from the other. In this knowing, somewhere, someone is saying thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the gifts that have come this day from you, through you, are gratefully accepted, and that gratitude rises up and returns to the circle of life, whole and complete. In this oneness, I rest, I move, and have my being. And I hold this thought in the stillness, in the silence, for one holy moment. Knowing there is more yet for me to do this day, gently now and easily, we bring our attention back to this place, to this now. holding to this experience we have shared, we join together and pray as Jesus, our elder brother, has taught us when he said, "As for you, pray therefore in this manner." Long ago, a friend of mine came to me and said, "How big is your library?" And I said, "Which day?" Because it changes every day. Why? Because books come in and books go out. You will know if you have one from library if it has a lot of yellow highlights in it. Now, the ones at a lending library, no, they don't have highlights in it. But if it came from Rob's library, it's highlighted. Because as I went through the book, this statement of truth, whatever it might be, I went, I need to remember that. So I took a physical action coupled with the mental activity of the reading and said, Now, knowing Rob, it doesn't stick that well. So some of my books have underlines in pencil and highlighted. And some of my books have pencil underlined and ink underlined and highlighted in yellow. And some have it highlighted in yellow and pink. Why? Because I read it over and over and over again. And I do it on purpose because I forget who I am. I need to be reminded of who I am because my world doesn't always match what I know it to be. I begin to believe out here, this direction is my truth. And it's not. It's my experience. And I want you all to hold on to this notion. What shows up out here is your experience. Grab it, accept it, say thank you, regardless of how it shows up. And some of you are going through what I call the you know what I mean, right? We all go through that, where we hold on to an idea that shows up in our body temple that is not our truth. I am whole and free. That's my truth. Anything other than that is just a misunderstanding on my part. Based on what? The thoughts and feelings that I hold that show up in experience in my world. It's just an experience. I get to change it. I get to change it. Which leads me to this fundamental idea of a fundamental constituent. Isn't that a great word? You're going to love what it is. Anybody want to take a wild guess what your fundamental constituent is? Logic. The challenge that we have is the logic that we hold doesn't match what I'm seeing, and then I lose my way. Everything about God is logical and in order. God is all, both visible and invisible. This one that is all is perfect: life, love, intelligence, and substance. Man is, therefore you are, an expression of God and one with perfect life, love, intelligence, and substance. That's logical. But it doesn't show up that way necessarily in my world. Why? I forget who I am. I believe the outside-in story instead of the inside-out. I'm getting better at it, by the way. I mentioned earlier that at about quarter of the hour, it looked like Steve and I and Dennis were going to be in the congregation today, and yet here all you are. I still think you're all in the parking lot with the heaters on waiting, but that's okay. You timed it perfectly. And there was a time in my life where I would have been very concerned about that. Oh no. Generally hinged on this. What have I done? Watch. What have I done incorrectly? It didn't have anything to do with me. Okay. I got to help it along. I went out to start the truck today and the battery was dead. Oh no! Right? My neighbor came walking by with his puppy. He said, "Battery dead?" I went, "Mm-hmm." He said, "Sunday, you didn't?" I went, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, church at 11?" I went, "Yeah." He says, "You might be late." I went, "Thank you, Jeff." No, I'm not. We had the battery cables all out. We were doing what needed to be done. And I could have been very stressed about it even then. I went, oh no. But see, everything works in divine order, regardless of the appearance. It's just an experience. Just an experience. So it will lead to other good things. It leads to discussions. And this is for you. If you have a battery that's older than 4 years, you might want to have it checked. Just saying. I say that with tongue in cheek because the battery to the overhead needs to be checked regularly. Because if I do this and it just doesn't go, of course, what did I do wrong? Oh no, I just need to change my battery. Right? And I just need to get back on script, that's all. And it's okay that I'm off a little bit. Why? It's an opportunity for me to learn and to grow. And then Rob's head goes weird. And if yours doesn't, okay. And if it does, you'll understand what I'm saying. There is so much going on in my world that sometimes I go into overwhelm, and that's when I need to back up. What I'm seeing isn't logical. This doesn't make sense to me. I need to back up. And say, okay. Don't be concerned about the visible. Don't be concerned about that. It's just an expression of what I've been holding on in thought. That's all it is. And I can change it. Now, the challenge comes in is I am not going to change the whole world. We are. We are. Some of us spend more time at it than others, and that's acceptable for now, because we're all learning. The tools I talked about earlier. What tools do you have in your workshop so that when a circumstance shows up in your life, you have something to pick up? one that came to me this week that I'll share with you. I like to do it because it's fun to do. What is God's name? Well, according to our Jewish brethren, you can't speak God's name. So you speak aspects of being. Jehovah. El Shaddai. Allah. Allah. Jai. Aspects of being, because to speak God's name is to put that in a box, a limitation. And God is unlimited. So it doesn't matter what you use as a term that represents for you in the moment your connection to the one. Doesn't matter what you call it. And it doesn't matter what anybody else calls it either. That's for them to decide, not for me. And then I don't get hung up in it. And I come back. I say, okay, what's next? What's next? What language can I use that will change the word that I give? Begins with what? Thought, an idea, then emotion, and then word, power of my word, and then an action of some kind to bring about an experience. Okay, where do I need to make a change? See, that's a logical sequence, isn't it? Now, we forget that logical sequence, and sometimes we're out of sorts. And I love this one because it's so easy to do. This time of the year particularly, I read a statistic that over the holidays, the average person gains 13 pounds. Hey, I saw you in August. You had the 13 pounds then. Oops. There's a good reason over the holidays if you think about it. Why? The weather. What have we been going through the last 3 weeks here in Southern Oregon? Heavy snowstorms, wind, yucky. So what did you do? He said, raising his hand. Oh, it's easy. I took my pants off and got back in bed. Right? Curled up. I became inactive. Right? Whereas throughout the year, most of the time, I'm very active. We were just talking, Dennis and I, before service started. We didn't play golf on Friday. I went, why not? Because all I had left was white balls. And there you go. If I had the color ones, we might have done 9, but no. No, we don't play in the cold. So I don't get the exercise, right? So my body responds. This body temple responds to inactivity. It says, okay, if you want to be a slug, be it. It's okay, I love you. Right? And then my brain says, wait a minute. You need to move. Because you were taught that you need to take action. And when you don't, this is the result. So why are you surprised? Okay. So I'll lose the 13 pounds. And none of you have to find it. Right? That's what I heard somebody say that. You lost the weight. I found it. It's right here. No. All right? Just your thinking. Add to the seasons. It's okay. I need to remember that it's okay. I need to know that even when I can't see it, all is in divine order. There is a sequence, step by step by step by step. And anytime I get out of line with that, all I have to do is go back to the beginning. It's kind of like what I talked about last week. And boy, I tell you, when I start something in thought, it just keeps showing up in my world. Last week I mentioned to you that one of the problems in our world, if you strip all of it away, keep peeling the onion, peeling the onion, peeling the onion, can all the way back to Cain. I'm still holding on to the rock. Whack. I can solve my problem with a big rock. Okay. When am I going to drop the rock? We're working on that. I have to find other alternatives, right? That's just part of our world. And then as soon as I said that, I kid you not, this is a conversation that I had this week. Well, what about David and Goliath? David picked up a rock and whacked Goliath with it. True story. Well, that was a good story, right? No. You missed the point. I did what? See, you focused on the story of the big giant and not on the whole story. David didn't care anything about Goliath. He was after the princess. See, if you read the whole story, he who slayed Goliath was going to be in favor of the king who had a beautiful daughter. David kept his eye on the prize. Goliath just happened to be the challenge that got in the way. And he took the challenge out. But if you try to take it literally and logically, what happens? Your head goes, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Where is this? And so the follow-up question was, and by the way, doesn't the Ten Commandments teach us thou shalt not kill? Does anybody know which number thou shalt not kill is in the Ten Commandments? Off the top of your head? How many of you think it's number 1? No, it's not number 1. Number 7, you're closer than number 1. 5, the answer is 5. It is the 5th one on the list. It's right in the middle. See, there's a whole lot of other pieces that play before we ever get to that one. And when we kind of follow them in sequence, remember the logic piece, if I can follow them in sequence, I don't even get to number 5, really. Not if I'm willing to follow the law. But I don't know how, because I'm still holding the rock. I still have a belief that I can solve my problems with aggression, anger, because I come from fear. I have forgotten that when I lived in the garden, I lived without fear. It's only when collectively I'm the I I'm talking about, when I thought I knew better than God how to deal with things, because I'm really good at it, fall from grace, right? And I fall into that trap where Cain fell. God loves you more than me. Because there's that idea of separation. We are not separate, you and I. We are one. We are each individual aspects of the one. The sooner we grab hold of that, understand it, honor it, the more our world changes. Hence, we go back to tools. The one tool that works best is knowing who you are. I am a beloved child of God. Together. I am a beloved child of God. Breathe. I am a beloved child of God. Breathe. All one, yeah. When you have a question, when there is a doubt, when you're having trouble seeing that in your world, remember the process. Center, breathe, state your truth. That's logical.
Thank you for listening. Please feel free to pass this message along to your friends and family. You can obtain additional audio tapes or CDs by visiting our website or by calling our office at 541-772-6902. We invite you to join us in prayer. We know that prayer works, and now you can send your prayer request to our prayer team here at Christ Unity Church by using the form on our website. The activities, programs, and services of this ministry are presented on a love offering basis. All gifts, regardless of size, are gratefully accepted. You may participate either by sending your gift to Christ Unity Church, 540 North Holly Street, Medford, Oregon, 97501, or by visiting us on the internet at www.unitymedford.org.